Attention contractors! You want to hear a little secret? Besides all the awesome keynote speakers, panels, debates, and breakout sessions, we host the largest trade show expo floor on the planet at the Windstorm Conference. At WTS, you can tour our massive trade show expo floor and meet with many of your favorite industry vendors, manufacturers, service, and technology providers. You also may meet some new ones that will help you scale your company to scale it in 2020. They're all coming! Meet with your favorite building suppliers like ABC, Beacon, SRS, USLBM, and many more. Or how about some of your favorite manufacturers? GAF, TAMCO, Owens Corning, Malarkey, IKO, Certainty, Tilcor, Duralast, Decra, and many more of your favorite manufacturers. Or check out some of our many technology and service providers like Hilltrace, Acculinks, Xactimate, and many more. What's up, Derek? Booyah, baby. At WTS, we're also going to bring you the latest in drone and virtual reality technology. We're going to show you the latest industry-specific training on the planet on how to use this new technology to scale your company in 2020. So come join the shakers and movers of the industry at the Windstorm Conference and Trade Show Expo on February 20, 21, 22 at the Phoenix Convention Center and make the decision to scale it in 2020. Booyah, baby!
All right, Hailstalkers, here we are. So we are tracking live activity. This is live. We're just fairly close to live. So we're going to kind of move back and forth here and take a look at what we had. So we haven't had a confirmed tornado, but there was definitely, looks like a tornado that touched down just to the southwest of Crowley. So we're going to show you where that took place at. Then we had some ping pong ball size hail. Now the storm is continuing to move off to the northeast, and it's moving into the Dallas metro here. So we're going to kind of bounce back and forth here. So kind of get your bearings here. So those of you from the Dallas-Fort Worth, right here is the actual radar location. So we're going to have a donut hole right here the entire time that we're working with, where there is no data is going to come in through here. Right back here to the southwest, this was about 10 to 15 minutes ago. This is where the tornado actually touched down at. I'm actually going to turn the chat off. I see you guys getting after it. Continue to chat amongst yourself, but I'm going to turn this off so you guys can kind of see what we're talking about here radar-wise. And here it is right here. So we're going to go from about 15 to 20 minutes ago, and then we're going to take us up to live coverage where the storm's actually right up here off the top of my screen. It's already moved through and just to the north of Burleson and Crowley, and it's heading up into the east sides of Fort Worth now. So we're going to take a look at that. But tornado, here it was. We had the hook echo right here where everything kind of spun around on the back side of the storm. Had some good updraft. You can see the little hail marker here that was showing up. And then right here, see the little green dot here. Now, if I'm looking at it here on radar, this is directly to the west of Joshua, okay? So I don't know how well you can see. The green line here is I-35 west. So I-35 west, here's Burleson right here, here's Crowley right here, and then here is Joshua right here. We had tornado, the little green dot, that's actually debris being picked up from the storm. And then as we move forward here, one frame, you can see the storm actually, watch how it just kind of moves and then comes right across right there. So little tornado touchdown right there. And as we get into the next frame, the tornado actually lifted. The storm kind of ingested itself, so it's kind of wrapped around on itself. But as it did so, it actually started to produce some larger hail. And here it is right in here. You can see the pinks right in here. So we saw the tornado warning in effect, but the pinks kind of spin around here. We're going to watch for these, what we call the correlation coefficient. We want to watch that kind of dump down. So when we see this dump down, that's when we're going to be able to see exactly where that hail, and there it is right there. You can see that the dump actually occurred, and then the storm kind of moves off to the north and to the east as it continues to do so. Really, really quick shot. There it is again. You can see actually the pink kind of intensifies here just to the north of Crowley. We've got the hook kind of wrapping around here on the north side, and you can see there it is frame by frame. Let's move us, kind of adjust us up here. And if we're looking at intersections here where we're talking about, okay, so this is Everman Road. Everman Road is right here, so we've got it running east and west, kind of digs to the southeast right here, Everman Road, and then our north-south road that we've got right there. So we're getting C731. So again, just to the north of Crowley. So those of you from this area, you notice this is the area that we're talking about. So this is where some of the hail came down. Again, this hail up to the size of ping pong balls is actually what we had here. So a quick shot. It didn't last very long. You can see the pink goes away, and then our CCs, they lift back up, and so we lose the big hail there. Let's take a look at it in 3D here. This could be interesting. We'll take a look and see what this storm exactly looked like here. And it's not a super tall storm. We're also really, really close to the radar, so you can kind of see how the storm gets chopped off right here. But here's our hail growth zone, and so some of this lift, we'll back this up here. You can see the pink definitely lifting up here. Now, we're not able to see up real high in the storm. So the radar, the algorithm that analyzes the hail, this is one of the reasons why we don't use that, is going to be unable to determine the hail size in this storm accurately because it can't see up through the top of it. So that's why the 3D is kind of leveled off there. And let's go ahead and move forward now. Let's take a look at this from a live standpoint now. Let's see where we're at here. Oops, let's not do that again here. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at it here from a live standpoint now. So as we move this storm forward, you can see it. Watch how it really spins in on itself. See the hook right here? So everything kind of flows up. Inflow is coming into the storm here. That's what caused us to produce the hail here. And you can see the 1.5 inch hail report is right here. So it came in right here. It looks like, again, kind of back right in through this area is where the largest hail actually occurred from. But watch how this thing comes up and then actually spins in on itself, ingests itself. And so now we're going to have to cycle. So we're going to have to cycle back up again if we're going to have the chance of producing any large hail. Now, or large hail or tornadoes or even some high winds. And we're going to take a look at the wind velocities on this. We still have kind of a nice bow here coming through the Arlington area right now. Let's take a look at wind velocities here and see what we've got going on here. So here's our wind velocity readings here. Let's zoom in here on that Arlington area. That's kind of where we're seeing some of the higher winds right in here. Just to the north, just to the south and really to the west of Arlington, we're getting some gusty winds right in this area, right in this pocket here. Not too significant, but there are definitely some gusty winds. Still just a tad bit of rotation, but not a lot. Again, we're kind of starting to cycle back up. So here on our radar, we can actually see the inflow now starting to redevelop here again as the storm just a little bit ago kind of ingested itself, kind of flipped over and kind of rotated around itself as it occluded. Well, now we've got to where we've got some new rotation, some new inflow now beginning to develop right up here to the north. So we're looking at live shot right now on radar. So this is live as of 6:20 p.m. Again, severe thunderstorm. We do have a tornado warning still in effect for this storm. Let's zoom out just a little bit and take a look at what we're seeing. So again, storm moving off to the north and east. So it's headed up towards the airport. Right here is DIA, Dallas International Airport, is right here where my hand is. Again, rotation currently right in here. This is where we've got the inflow moving into the storm. I don't see anything too crazy in there right now, so I don't think that we have a tornado on the ground. But there is still some rotation in this storm, so definitely worth watching as it moves again off to the north and east, and it's moving at a fairly quick clip. Okay, so in the next 15 to 20 minutes, it's going to be up here in Capel and Carrollton area as it moves really quickly off to the north and east here and across Dallas. Now, right now, again, mainly just some gusty winds. So the highest winds that we're seeing, here's our new update that just came in live right in here. So just to the west of Arlington, This is where the gustiest winds that we're seeing right now as this line moves on off to the north-northeast, north and east here. Now let's take a look and kind of look down the line here. So we're going to look at a different radar product that we have here. So this is kind of what we've got going on all across the country. And so as you can see right up here in Springfield, we actually had some quarter-size hail move through here. This is actually behind, or really not behind, but right up along the cold front. Right in here is where the cold front kind of drapes across. You can see it gotten much colder here in Oklahoma City. Tulsa, your temperatures are dropping. Cold front now moving through, or dry line cold front now moving through the west side of Fort Worth. So everything Fort Worth to the west, you guys are stable. Storms are over with, but we're still watching severe thunderstorms now firing, and they're coming in and approaching here the I-35 corridor. We've got San Antonio right down here. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got going on here. So you can see handful of storms here, very linear, so they're going to struggle to consistently produce hail when we get this type of linear activity. So when we see this in line segments, say we have all these different line segments kind of lining up, even this back here kind of forming into a line, and even down here in Mexico forming into a line. So when they form into a line that quickly, that doesn't allow our storms to get that rotation because they're in this long line. They can't spin around in a circle, and so that keeps the hail size down. Now that doesn't mean we're not going to get any hail, but it does help limit it. And so what we'll have to have is we'll have to have these little inflow notches, kind of like the one that we just saw up in the Burleson area where we had the ping pong ball size hail, and then a quick spin up tornado as well. We're going to have to see that type of activity in order to actually produce some hail and or tornadoes. Now they're going to be quick lived in this line area, so they're not going to last very long. But if they do happen in the right location, here as we get close to I-35, San Antonio, San Marcos, Austin, Temple, Waco. Right in that area, as they move into that area, we've got some high population, so we're going to have to watch that area extremely close to see exactly what type of severe weather we're going to see. Now, we also still have the tornado warning here in the Dallas area. Again, we've kind of transitioned into some gusty winds right now with this storm. Not a lot of hail. The tornado has lifted, it looked like, but I do think it was on the ground for about maybe 2 to 3, 4 minutes just to the west and southwest of Crowley, and it stayed on the ground for just a couple minutes and then lifted. It doesn't look like it was a big, powerful tornado, but it was definitely on the ground for a couple minutes. And we're watching this storm also just to the north of Sulphur Springs here. Now, Sulphur Springs had a pretty significant hailstorm. Was it last year or the year before? And so this area this whole area accustomed to a lot of severe weather. This happens pretty consistently, but we've got a tornado warning right now to the north of Sulphur Springs as well. So let's go back to local radar here. We're going to zoom back in on Dallas. We're going to see what's actually going on. The wind's really even coming down on this right now. It's really fairly unorganized. So see how it's right now, if we're just looking at radar here, let's go to a single panel so we can just look. Single panel here, radar here. So you can see how it's kind of jerky, how the line just doesn't have any real smooth edges, and we don't really have any spots, intrusions necessarily that are real nice and smooth being sucked into the storm. And so that's telling us that right now the storm's definitely going through a cycle. So it's not locked up, it's not cinched up, it's not able to really pull anything in, and in doing so, it's not going to be able to get the lift and the spin and the shear that it needs to produce hail or tornado or even high winds. So this would be the area though that we'd watch kind of right here. Looks like it's kind of trying to pull some air and kind of blow out this way near the Arlington area. And again, but wind's not very strong in here. So let's go ahead and take a look at our wind readings here. And if we actually look at these readings right now, so we're getting winds, kind of this peak right here where my mouse cursor is. This is kind of our peak. So radar estimating winds at around 40 miles an hour right now. So not too significant. Definitely not anything probably causing too much in the way of damage. We got some trash cans maybe blowing around, but that's probably going to be about it. Now there's some gusty winds for sure, and you can kind of see right here, this is where the line comes in. So when this pushes through, you're going to see some pretty significant wind speed and winds kind of gusting through. But right now, again, winds predominantly, I would say, in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range, and anywhere in this red area here. We've got a lot of lightning and thunder, but as it stands right now, not seeing a lot of rotation. We'll look at one of our rotation products that we have here, and you can see it's blank. We just got a map of the city of Dallas here. A couple little specks here, but nothing worth watching currently in the Dallas metro for rotation. I would assume that we'll probably see this tornado warning be canceled or be replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning, depending on if the winds decide that they want to pick back up again. Let's jump over here to Siloam Spring, or the Sulphur Springs area. I did have some hail in Siloam Springs earlier today up in Arkansas. Now we're real far out from the radar here, but we definitely have some gusty winds and some rotation going on up in here. And the storm, these are kind of your quick spin up storms. You can see it looks real sloppy, and it definitely is. We might actually take a look at this from. Let's take a look at that. No, Shreveport's not going to help us. We're definitely kind of in a radar hole here, so not a whole lot to use. So we're real far away from Sulphur Springs here from the radar. You can see we're definitely we're scanning at about 12,000 feet above the ground when it comes up to this area. So not a lot to look at, but there is some rotation. You can kind of see the little hook right here. So that's what they've got it warned for, is this little hook right here. And we've had a history, some of these showers starting to kind of spin up out here ahead. Now, if we take a look at the tornado watch that was issued for this area, this is definitely something to watch. So here's some of the wording that they used from this tornado watch for this afternoon. So as you can see, a few tornadoes likely with a couple intense tornadoes possible, widespread large hail, scattered very large hail up to 2 inches in diameter. I think the hail threat really coming down, so I don't think we're going to see as much, especially in the north part. And we actually had a second tornado watch just issued, and it's for these showers that we were just talking about off to the east. Now this is what we call I think it's a PDS tornado watch if I'm correct here. So let's see here. Yeah, so we got tornado watch number 5. I don't see PDS in here. So, oh yeah, it is. Nope, I don't see it in here. So again, this one a little bit more frugal on the wording. So only 1.5 inches hail, but still intense tornadoes and some damaging winds definitely seem likely. The big hail tends to be back down here to the south and west down the I-35 corridor. This is where we're going to have to watch. Again, it's going to be these guys down here. And if we look at the watch on here, and this is kind of where, again, really unstable temperatures, very warm, mid-70s down here. We've got a lot of instability. So any of these storms that have the opportunity to isolate up, they will produce the very, very large hail. And so here's what we got right now. So widespread large hail, isolated very large hail events up to 3 inches in diameter. So again, some big hail possible. Is a chance of a tornado or two, but this is a severe thunderstorm watch, so large hail damaging winds the main threat, with isolated tornadoes possible. And again, that linear mode, so that seeing this line right here makes it a little tougher. But these little markers right here, so this one's a 1 inch marker, so this is saying, radar saying, there might be some quarter size hail. We'll jump up and take a look at this. This is near Killeen, so we got Waco, Killeen, Temple right in here. So this storm near Killeen, I don't think that we're going to see quarter size hail out of that one, but we'll jump up and take a look at it. And then we got San Antonio right here, and these are what we're going to have to watch. Says if they can get little inflow notches into them, they could definitely produce some hail with this real warm, unstable air. Look at it, mid to upper 70s, close to 80 degrees right now in San Antonio. This is not January, or it doesn't feel like January in Austin or San Antonio today. So again, let's make sure that everything looks okay. So we're seeing, again, you can see kind of, here's one of those little markers that we just talked about. So this little line segment right here beginning to intensify. Look how this is kind of starting to smooth out a little bit here. So let's go back to our 2-panel view. Let's make sure that everything looks good. Again, a couple of gusts in here. So here's still kind of consistent with this area, just to this same area has kind of moved from the west side of Arlington up to the north. This is probably where you're going to see the gustiest winds, kind of right in here. Probably Six Flags, I think, is right in here somewhere. And so right from here to here, but again, wind's not that strong. Right now I'm peaking us out at about 35, let's see, 30, 40. Got some 42 mile an hour winds, 25. So nothing crazy. Winds mainly in the low to mid 40s right through here. So nothing, again, too crazy. But as we watch and you kind of see, we've got this nice bow that's kind of formed here. So we do have an intrusion right in here. So we'll watch this. This is some inflow kind of going into the line here, but not much in the way of rotation, not much in the way of high winds currently. So we're going to watch this very closely and see if we get any good rotation going. Again, you can see kind of kind of some little pockets here. This is probably our leftover rotation pockets that we had from earlier, but nothing too significant. And I think that we'll see things kind of wind down here. Hail-wise, I don't see anything on there. So let's jump down. Let's take a look at this storm heading in towards the Temple, Killeen area. Again, so we got a severe thunderstorm warning on these. And again, here's that hail marker. The storm doesn't actually look too bad here. Let's jump in here and take a look at it. So this one is headed towards the Waco area. And as you can see here, so we do have, so it tends to be increasing potentially in its hail size. Let's go ahead and switch us to our hail analyzing products here. So we've got correlation coefficient right in here, and we're looking at, again, lower values. We're getting kind of a reflection here from the radar as it kind of beams off. So it's not all this area seeing hail, but right in here where we're seeing the pinks, where everything tends to overlap. So I'd go right here, kind of see. So we're looking at, it's kind of hard for me to see, Leon Junction is right here. This is Leon Junction, so probably some quarter to maybe $half size hail just to the west of Leon Junction right now, and this is moving off to the northeast as well in the general direction of Waco. So we're going to have to watch this. This will be in the Waco area probably in an hour or so, and so I don't think we'll keep live coverage until it gets to Waco, but we're going to take a look at that and see how quickly that's going to get. There's Waco, kind of see right there. So here's where we're headed. This is basically heading in the general direction of Waco, so right in here, this storm moving off to the northeast. It doesn't have anything connected to the south, so it does have an area to pull in nice, warm, moist air. So we'll have to watch this very, very closely to see if it's able to produce any large hail as it moves into the Waco area. Let's continue on south down the line. So you can see here, this is actually a telltale sign that this is our strong storm. This is our anchor storm. You can see the outflow coming right off of this boundary right through here. And so everything here, wind is gusting out. We have outward winds, even where it's not raining right through here. Winds are blowing out and heading this way towards the I-35 corridor. Here's Georgetown right down here, Round Rock, Travis right in here. So everything right in here, nothing going on here, but we've got gusting winds coming out of the storm. This whole line right in here is not going to produce much in the way of severe weather as long as we are gusting out. But right up here to the north, we still have inflow coming into this storm. Down here to the south, we've got a little bit of inflow coming in right down here as well. So we're going to have to watch that area. Continue on down the line. Let's take a look here. And we're going to switch radars as we get close here to San Antonio. Let's see what we've got going on in San Antonio. Storms finally starting to move. Now, they fired a little far to the west for San Antonio to actually get significant hail. So we're going to have to kind of watch this, but we've got several cores here to watch, several storms to watch. So here's Leon Valley right here. Here's San Antonio, so you got SeaWorld for those of you. I just was there, so I'm a little familiar with the SeaWorld area. So right in here is SeaWorld. Right up in this area is the Six Flags area, San Antonio, the Riverwalk, the Alamo, everything downtown right in here. And so all this stuff is kind of moving generally off to the east, the individual storms themselves moving off to the northeast there, as you can see. So it'll take a little while for this to actually move all the way towards the Leon Valley, where we kind of start to see some people popping up in here. So fairly rural. There are some towns out here and definitely potential for some $quarter to $half. Maybe some of these that peak up, we might see some golf ball size hail right now, but that's kind of where they stand. Nothing too significant. Let's jump out. Let's take one last look all the way around. So the tornado warning now in Dallas has expired. That's kind of what I thought would happen. It doesn't look like it's doing a whole lot. We're going to give it a couple minutes here just to make sure that nothing decides to kind of spin up, because it's kind of starting to get that look again, that comma head look that I like to see whenever I see a good storm. So we'll see if it's going to go ahead and spin back up. We've got this guy right here moving in the general direction of Waco, and then way down here to the south, we're watching storms. They're taking their time getting to the east. I think they may still have 1 to 2 hours even before they actually make it to San Antonio, which might be too long for them to actually produce significant hail in San Antonio. So it might stick just to the west of the San Antonio area. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings up here to the north. We actually have a new tornado warning now just to the west of O'Fallon. So this is the St. Louis metro here. So we've got tornado warning here, severe thunderstorm warning. This is probably kind of your quick spin ups. You kind of got the top end of the line is right here. And sometimes this area likes to kind of spin around on the north side there, and you get a little shear there, and sometimes you can get some tornadoes. So definitely a possibility of a tornado there. This has had a history of producing quarter-size hail. I've got some real cold air aloft right here as this is interacting with a really, really strong cold front. You can see it doesn't take very long for us to go from the 60s to the low 30s with freezing rain, sleet, and snow back in the Kansas City metro area, Warrington, all the way. So, I mean, it's not very far. We're talking an hour, 2-hour drive here where you go from severe weather and tornadoes, tornado watch, all the way up to winter weather with winter storm conditions going on right now in the Kansas City metro area. So pretty crazy weather. Again, nothing too significant right now in Dallas. Let's give it one last look here with the high resolution radar. That's what I'd like to look at it with one more time here. Again, earlier we watched the ping pong ball size hail and a tornado that touched down near the Crowley area, just to the southwest of Crowley. We watched that live as it moved off to the north and the east. We watched it lift. We watched the storm produce the hail and then wrap itself up and actually die as it moved in. And now storm's not looking too healthy, although again it still has that inflow notch right here now, just right here to the east of Grapevine. So an area to watch here. Now storm's moving into the Irving area, and but everything kind of wrapping up and not seeing quite as much activity. It doesn't look quite as strong as it did just a few minutes ago. So you can see here again, nothing too significant going on. We don't have any big hail. Let's take a look at our wind product to see if we've got any high winds going on right now. Again, some pockets of gusty winds here. And if we kind of zoom in here, let's see if we're getting any rotation here. So this might be worth watching kind of right here in the Grapevine area. So you can see here we've got a couple of colors right here. And this is real close to where our inflow notch is. So this would be an area of watching here. So we do have a little bit of rotation now starting. This is not weak. This is not tornado warning stuff, but we do have just a little bit of rotation here just to the south and to the east of Grapevine. Okay, so if we're looking at, we've got all of our highways listed on here. So this is State Highway 26 near the Grapevine area. And let's see here, we got 360. So we're looking real close here. I think if I turn radar off here, yeah, we're right on top of Denver International. So the rotation is literally right here on top of the airport right now. So that's exactly where it is. So for those of you familiar with that area, that's where we're watching. That's where and again, it's super weak. It's not very strong. I mean, we're talking, these are winds going in the opposite direction here. So that's what we're looking at, but super weak. We're talking, 20, 30 mile an hour winds. So not anything. Don't take cover. We don't need to do any of that. It's just something to watch because it's right here where this inflow notch is. And so that's what we got to watch. So these little intrusions that happen. And this new radar frame that comes in looks a little bit weaker. It doesn't look quite as strong. We'll wait for our reflectivity, our wind product to actually update. And I think it'll verify. We'll kind of see this rotation kind of weaken down just a little bit. But some of these yellow pockets right in here, maybe some 30, 40, maybe 45 mile an hour gusts. With some of those, and then again just a little bit of rotation here. Again, went right over the top of Denver International Airport. I'm sure there's probably some delays going on there right now. There you can see the winds kind of gusted up a little bit, so we did have an increase in winds. The rotation doesn't look quite as good right at this moment, but right in here, wind speeds pick up just a tad. So we've got winds now around 35, maybe as high as 45, almost 50 miles an hour in these little yellow pockets right in here. So again, nothing significant yet. Let's go down the line and see if we have any other intrusions, any other inflow notches beginning to take shape. And I don't see anything here. Here's Farmers Branch here. Again, nothing really going on. This is really the only spot that we have to watch is this little couplet right here where everything just kind of funneling in there. And again, doesn't look as strong right now. And so I think we're gonna, again, wind's not severe. This is not even a severe thunderstorm, so not really much worth watching. So I think we're gonna go ahead and call it. We're gonna call it right now. So we're gonna stop our live coverage, and if anything pops up and looks good, myself or John will be back live and we'll be able to cover this live for you and tell you what's going on. So we appreciate you guys for watching again, covering the weak tornado that looks like it touched down to the southwest of Crowley. Also some ping pong ball size hail. We've taken a look at storms all up and down the line from St. Louis all the way down to San Antonio. A lot of activity, but a lot of activity is kind of calming down for the moment. And I think that we'll see some activity pick up later on tonight as things shift off to the east and some of these showers out ahead of this line really begin to take off. So I hope you guys have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon.